first thing I need you to do is to download the updated version of the close-up green screen. I have eliminated, what is it, DSCF 4056, so you can see that that's gone, 6 or 7. I have replaced it with DSCF 4059, so if you guys can click on that, hit download, and download it. Alright, once you've downloaded it, we're going to go into our downloads folder and find it. So we need to put the files into our green screen practice folder. The other thing you're going to need is some kind of background. So if you can do a search for something, I searched for a film set. I'm using a video because I have a YouTube video downloader, but you can use a photo of anything. So you want to download whatever it is you want to put behind your image. So save image as, and that will allow me to choose a name and a location for that file. Like I said, I did actually find a film set video that I was able to download. So let me find that. Go. Alright, and those things all need to get into Adobe Premiere. So here's Adobe Premiere. We've got my project. Okay, we've got my project, and here are our files. Alright, so I've got the files. Now the next step is to create our sequence. So I do not want to simply drag one of these in here because it's going to be the wrong resolution. I want to make a new sequence. I want to make sure that it's 1080p, so I use digital SLR 1080p, and we use 24 frames per second. And I'm going to title this also Green Screen Practice. Alright, now we need to take each one, crop it to the length that we want, so when I begin acting, okay, alright, so I'll set an endpoint for there. Put an out there, and we will drag this one into the timeline. Alright, so I'm going to take my next one, which is currently, actually that's the third one, we want this one, this is the second one. I'm going to take my video, set my endpoint, set my out point there, drag that one into the timeline, and these should actually be on layer 2, so if you can grab the video, to zoom in here so I can actually see, make sure I've got the right tool, there we go. Okay, that should actually be on layer 2 because we're going to put stuff behind the videos. Alright, put those back to back. Now we have the last one, the one on the white backdrop. Okay, I'm going to set my endpoint there. Alright, we'll set the out point there. Okay, so the videos aren't perfect because you could see on this side, Jose never went fully out of screen because it was a tight room on that one. On the first one, you'll notice somebody's arm is hanging out on the left there the whole time, so that's a little tough. But I have to get stuff out of the way on that one anyway. And then we have this one. Alright, so we're going to begin by taking each file, and I'm going to switch to a new workspace called Effects. That's going to change the workspace so I can see my effects on the left-hand side. This is my effect controls. Here are my effects that I can search for over here. And I'm interested in keying out the background. So we're going to look up the word key here, and it's going to find under video effects, keying effects, and we're going to do a color key. So I'm going to add that. Now it's important that you understand that once I double click on that, it shows up only in the effect controls, and if I can't see the effect controls, it'll look like nothing happened. And what often happens is people just keep double clicking and keep adding it, and then they've got like 15 chroma keys added to their effects list. So just make sure you're looking at the effect controls and you can see that chroma key was added. Alright, so now I want to go here, and under key color, currently blue is what's selected. I'm going to switch to the eyedropper, which is going to allow me to select a color from the background. Now it says it wants to record the screen. I'm going to go ahead and allow that. Hopefully I don't need to go into my system preferences because it's going to be locked for you, but I said allow and it seems to have allowed me. There we go. So I selected a color from the background, and what should be happening is as I increase the tolerance, which is what I'm doing here, I'm simply clicking and dragging on the number here. As I increase the tolerance, it's going to start to grab more and more color. Now you can see that clearly was not a uniformly lit background. So there may be a better, more middle ground color for me to select. And I can kind of experiment with what that looks like as I go around and select different colors. But clearly I'm going to have to increase the color tolerance. What I also can see is if you look at the trash can, there's some reflected green on the trash can, and so that's going to be problematic because it's going to become see-through. Okay, so too much tolerance is making that a pain. Let's see if we can feather the edge on this. Okay, that softens the edge, as you can see what that looks like. That's pretty good. If I thin the edge, look at what happens there. Okay. So that's the maximum of the controls that I can get with that color key. So we may have to add another color key in order to get it to work. So I'm going to key out also that one. Let's see if that works. Okay, so we've gotten rid of that green, and we're kind of stuck at this point because we've got that white. I could try to add another color key and see if I can key out that white background, but let's see what happens with my head on this. Yep, Mr. Edwards is white. Okay, so as we increase the tolerance of that, it's pulling too much in. So that may not work. We could try to use a matte. Which will focus the key just on that section. So I'm just grabbing the corners of the matte. I added 2 mattes. And now as I increase the tolerance on this chroma key, so there's my 2 mattes, I'm able to get rid of the coloring on that background. Alright, so we're going to apply that process on each of these videos. There's the close-up one. Again, kind of pick the best one that seems to grab all the color that we want. Add a new one if we're not getting what we need. Alright. So you got the basic process. Not super clean at this point. You can see Max is kind of disappearing out of that one. But we're going to leave it there for now and kind of take a look at this some more tomorrow upon my return. But we're going to place the images that we want behind there. So if I return to the workspace of editing, and I add in my backgrounds, which I downloaded, yeah, there it is. I'm going to turn off the audio on that layer. I'm going to find the area of the video that I want behind there. Okay, so the rough edit is working. Doesn't look wonderful at this point, but the rough edit is working. We will continue to tweak this a little bit more tomorrow. I'm just trying to find a section of the video that I actually want behind there. There we go. Alright, that's where we'll stop for today, so go ahead and save, and I'll see you tomorrow.